Quitting is the topic. I don't have a ton of experience quitting jobs because I am Midwestern. For other people, quitting feels cathartic, like a release. For Midwesterners, it feels like committing a felony assault. Anytime I've considered quitting a job, there's like a voice in my head. She's got a Wisconsin accent. She's like, "You owe it to your boss to work 30 years in the mattress factory until you drop dead. And you know what else? You would be lucky to work for $8 an hour for the privilege to die alongside the Sertas, okay? You signed a blood oath to your boss." So haven't quit a lot of jobs. One thing I do have a lot of experience quitting is relationships. Have quit a lot of relationships, have found a lot of ways out without explicitly breaking up. In high school, I told my boyfriend at the time that I didn't want to have sex with him now or ever, which turns out is a very effective way to get a high school boy to dump you. So that worked. Another time I was on a park bench with a guy I had been dating. We were having a lovely day. We'd gone on a bike ride, and I said, "I don't think I can do this anymore." And he said, "Do what?" And I said, "Date you." So that was effective too. The thing I can't quite get right is the timing. I always kind of screw up the timing on these little schemes. I put up the sex embargo on my boyfriend in high school on my birthday for some reason. Very sweet 16 that was. Memorable. And then the guy on the park bench, literally the second the words left my mouth, like, "I don't think I can date you anymore," a guy across the street got in his car and turned it on, and the music started blasting a song that I have never heard before or since that went like this: "You a fat bitch, you a fat bitch." Should have mentioned I was living in St. Louis at the time, but nevertheless, the timing on that one was really something. Which brings me to the story for tonight, the most poorly timed quitting of a relationship I've ever experienced. It was like 3 years ago. I had just recently moved to LA, and I was dating this guy who actually was the first guy that I ever had sex with. So I know what you're thinking. You lost your virginity 3 years ago, Bri. You look terrible for 17. I know, I've been smoking since I was 9. Don't tell my college admissions counselor. I really want to go to Dartmouth. No, I was 26. Don't really want to get into it right now. The simple explanation is a fun combo of childhood trauma and Catholicism, mostly. I was really into following rules, and Catholicism's big rule is don't do sex. Don't do it. I also like to be the best. And for devout Catholics, the best thing a woman can be is a mother and a virgin. So I kind of wanted to leave that door open. But 26 years, you get a little bored, you get a little horny. I gave up my dreams of immaculate conception, found a guy on Tinder, and I made it happen. He was great. He was very understanding. He was cool. He was communicative, nice guy, really funny. I thought he was super out of my league, even though like a third of our dates were just smoking weed and watching Roseanne on his couch. This was before we found out she was racist, so it was a good date. I'm not saying that. But I was super insecure about all of it. I just felt weird and old. And he was really great, but he was not what I would call emotionally available. So as you can see, it was a match made in heaven. I was doing a good job. He was seeing other people openly, and we were talking about that, and I'm sure I was doing a great job of very convincingly being like, "Yeah, no, that's fine, totally, I get that. I've done this before. All of this is very familiar for me. Like, keep it up, keep going." So I was doing that for like 6 months, and as I said, it was very convincing, but my gums started to bleed, which was maybe a sign that it wasn't okay with me. But I didn't know how to have that conversation. This was all uncharted territory for me, so I was really anxious about it. And then I was finally like, okay, like work up the courage, tell him what you need, like set some boundaries. So we had a date planned where we were gonna watch Wrestlemania. which might sound like only a date that he would like, but that is correct. That's only something he would like. But I was going to use that opportunity to sort of be like, hey, you know, I did this for you, and I also never say what I want or like. So today's the day. Here's what I want. Maybe a relationship. So exactly the thing that a guy wants to hear after watching 5 hours of wrestling. I had made a plan with some girlfriends during the day. We were going to go to the hot springs at Ojai. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but it's like real LA. Like you get in, everybody's naked, there's crystals, you feel very like sexually free. So we were gonna do that during the day, and then I was gonna roll in and like lay down the law. It did not work out like that. It turns out in Southern California, you need a reservation to enjoy nature. Has anybody experienced that at the Ojai Hot Springs? Yeah, you can't just go in. You pay a guy who lives in an Airstream, and he tells you when you can and can't go in. So, got a little backed up there, a little backed up coming home. We're running hours and hours late, and I'm frantically texting this guy like, hey, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, we're running behind, might miss a couple matches. Like, go ahead and start without me. Literally, I'll do anything you want, anytime. And he's like, it's okay. I haven't even thought about you. I'm not thinking about you at all. Come whenever. And it would have been great if I could just like roll from the hot springs right to there, because they are really relaxing. I was feeling good. But they are sulfur hot springs. So I heard a couple reactions there. Do you guys know what that smells like? Eggs, that's correct. It smells like eggs. So I did go home and take a shower. I took a lot of showers. I washed everything, including my legs. I don't know if anyone has been on Twitter lately. There's a big debate about white people not washing their legs, which white people in the audience, wash your fucking legs. But proud to say, even though it took me 26 years to have sex, I do now and have always washed my legs. So got that going for me. But I'm scrubbing, I'm washing my hair like 3 times, putting all sorts of oils in it. I make my roommate do a smell check. I'm like, am I good to go? She's like, you're good to go. Get out there. You got this. So I get to his house, Wrestlemania fully over. Have missed the whole thing. He and his best friend are sitting on their couch playing video games, stoned out of their goddamn minds. And I'm like, okay, so you coped with my absence pretty well. Got it. It's nice to know you're not needed. So before I get into what happened when his friend left and we started making out, we should maybe discuss how human pores work. Not sure if you guys are familiar, just do a quick science lesson. When you're hot, like say you're sitting in a hot springs, the pores in your skin, they open up. And they can take in whatever mineral or nutrient the earth is giving you, like for example, sulfur. And then when your body goes back to normal temperature, the pores close up and they just sort of trap it all in there, you know? You may not smell in the moment, you think you've gotten rid of it, but it's in there, right? Just waiting for you to heat up again so it can come right out. Sort of like if you have feelings and you try to shove them deep, deep down and you think they've gone away, and then when you least expect it, they come bubbling out. Like, for example, if you're sleeping with someone you really like who only kind of likes you back. So we're making out. I'm very anxious about literally everything in my life. I'm like, hey, I should probably mention that the hot springs were sulfur and I took a lot of showers, but I'm worried that I still smell. And he's like, oh my God, you're so cute, you little stinky little river rat. No, it's totally fine, I'll take you as you are. Come over here, it's so cute. And then like 3 minutes later, he's like, okay, I smell it. And I'm like, oh, what should we do? And he's like, no, it's not a problem. Don't even worry about it, because he's Midwestern too, you know? So he understands how important denial is to a relationship. So we're going on, I'm getting like sweatier, and it starts becoming very noticeable. And I'm finally like, I've never enjoyed anything less in my life. We have to stop. I'm like, can you smell it? And he's like, can you smell it? And I'm like, oh God, do you want me to go? I'm so embarrassed. And he's like, yeah. And he pushes me off the bed. And I'm like, oh my God, oh no, this is it, this is why I haven't done this, oh no, everything's terrible. And I'm like, are you serious? I'll go. And he's like, wait, what? No, are you serious? No, of course I don't want you to go. Like, I'm not a monster. And then it hits me, and I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's just a normal, well-adjusted adult, and I'm on some other type of journey. And he can be a nice, supportive guy, and still not maybe be enough for me at this point. So I'm like, I can't really do this. I need to think about this. Like, I gotta go home. I drive home. I'm talking to myself the whole drive home going, you're fine, you're good, you're fine, you're good, you're fine, you're good. But the timing of these events sort of points out I'm really neither fine nor good. So I'm like, okay, you didn't have this conversation with him. Set another date. Next time you go, bring it up. Tell him how you feel. So I get in there and I'm like, hey, that sort of drove some things home for me. I don't think I can keep seeing you unless there's like a little bit of security in the relationship. And he's like, I really wish I could. I just cannot do that right now. I'm like, okay, totally understood. Thank you for your honesty. And I quit. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. And it felt good to set some boundaries and show up for myself, even though it was hard. I was grateful that I had sort of like found a good person to ease me into this world. It wasn't ideal that the last time I slept with this first guy I ever slept with, I happened to smell like hot egg water. That wasn't ideal, but it was on brand for me, unfortunately. Okay, I'm not sure what the woo was for there, but I'll take it. Now, to be fair, this guy and I did date on and off for 2 years after that point, with him aggressively pursuing me and then changing his mind at the last minute and dating somebody else 3 different times. But those details are really more for a different episode, maybe one themed like lack of self-respect. This is the quitting story, so I'm gonna abruptly end it there. Thank you.
Bri LeRose, ladies and gentlemen.